What's up, YouTube? This is Mathis97, and welcome back to another episode of WWE 2K14 Universe Mode. This is episode number 46, and we're here. This time we had Super SmackDown on the last episode. Well, today we've got Rockin' Raw. And yes, that is a pun. You'll see later on, but we've got Rockin' Raw here tonight, which means we are going to play every single matchup on the card, just like we did last episode on SmackDown. So let's go ahead, take a look at the match card. We're going to kick off the show with CM Punk one-on-one with the WWE Champion, The Undertaker. We've got the Divas Champion, Kaitlyn, taking on Layla. We've got a fatal four-way between four guys in the United States Championship title picture. Zack Ryder, Jack Swagger, Kofi Kingston, Biggie Langston. We've got a tag team matchup. Daniel Bryan finding a new ally in Antonio Cesaro to take on Curtis Axel and Alberto Del Rio. And here's the pun. This is why it's Rockin' Raw, because the main event, it is Seth Rollins with Dean Ambrose in his corner, taking on The Rock with Stone Cold Steve Austin in his corner. So that should be one hell of a main event. But we're far from there, my friends, because we get to kick off with this matchup. This should be a doozy. This should be a slobber knocker, to quote the great Jim Ross, as it is CM Punk going on with the WWE Champion, the Phenom, and the newest member of the Shield, The Undertaker. And of course, if you're new around here, you missed the last couple of episodes, well, first of all, you should go back and check out last week's episode of Raw. That was a huge, monumental Raw, possibly the biggest episode of Universe Mode in the history of Universe Mode. Well, in the history of this series, anyway. With, not only did we get the return of The Rock and Stone Cold, but we also got the return of Hulk Hogan, and we found out that those three superstars, we're going to call them Team Icons. They will be teaming up to take on The Shield, which you can say Team Shield, The Shield, whatever you want. But at Survivor Series, in the traditional Survivor Series tag team matchup, it will be The Shield taking on Team Icons, the team of The Rock, Stone Cold, and Hulk Hogan. If you don't like the name Team Icons, feel free to leave a comment down below if you've got any other names for what would be a good team name for those legends. I kind of like Team Icons, but feel free to leave a suggestion down in the comments section below. Maybe, just maybe, if you have a really good one, that could be the name of their team. Obviously, it's got to start with team, because it's Survivor Series. Team Shield versus Team whatever they may be called. For now, let's call them Team Icons. But here's an icon in of himself. That is the WWE Champion, The Undertaker. And in case you're wondering, well, what the heck happened to his cloak and all the robes that he used to wear? Well, if you missed the No Way Out pay-per-view, you would have missed The Undertaker winning the WWE Championship from John Cena thanks to an assist from the returning Dean Ambrose. And that was a Hell in a Cell matchup. Dean Ambrose was under the ring the whole time, popped out from under the ring, and hit John Cena with 3 finishers, which then, if that hadn't been enough, The Undertaker then picked him up, delivered a tombstone pile driver, and joined The Shield. So The Shield came down for an assist to help The Undertaker win the WWE Championship. We also found out on the last episode of Raw that it was a setup the whole time. Dean Ambrose claims that when he lost the WWE Championship to John Cena at Night of Champions, that he lost it on purpose, that there's no way John Cena would be able to defeat Dean Ambrose for the WWE title, and that it was all a plan to get Undertaker the championship, and that Cena was a pawn. Well, we'll have to find out if Cena truly did get played by The Shield. Was he truly the pawn, or is he the king, as he'll be going one-on-one with The Undertaker for the WWE Championship at the Survivor Series pay-per-view as well. But that's not the only matchup we learned of. We also found out on the last episode, which was Friday Night SmackDown, we learned that the tag team champions, the Wyatt family, will be taking on the Prime Time Players. And we also found out that the Divas Champion, Kaitlyn, will be going one-on-one with her arch rival from the past, AJ Lee. So that is set to be, I mean, we've already got, 4 or 5 matches on the card. Geez, my math skills are way off right now because I'm trying to commentate. But we also learned, as another Raw matchup, that it will be Daniel Bryan going one-on-one with Curtis Axel. And if Daniel Bryan can defeat Curtis Axel, he will be granted a matchup with the Beast Incarnate, Brock Lesnar. So that's a big announcement by Paul Heyman last week. And we do know that Daniel Bryan will be teaming with his newfound ally, Antonio Cesaro, to take on Del Rio, well, the team of Del Rio and Curtis Axel later on tonight. We do know that Daniel Bryan faced Alberto Del Rio last week on Monday Night Raw. Daniel Bryan did get the victory there on that occasion. And we also know that CM Punk has some history with Alberto Del Rio. CM Punk defeated Alberto Del Rio at the No Way Out pay-per-view in a last-minute matchup made by Paul Heyman per request from CM Punk. So, really, CM Punk, he has not competed since the No Way Out pay-per-view. But what a victory this would be here for CM Punk if he could get the win over The Undertaker. I mean, if The Undertaker defeats John Cena at the Survivor Series, then you'd have to think, well, we're going to see a new contender. And if CM Punk could defeat Taker right here, who's to say that CM Punk won't be the #1 contender and will not challenge The Undertaker at TLC? I mean, he'd be right up there. I mean, we got some other guys who could potentially challenge. Kane was another one. Kane defeated John Cena while he was WWE Champion. So CM Punk, if he gets a win here, that would definitely add himself into the mix, into the runnings for the WWE Championship. But we do know that Kane is also there as well, so that could potentially be a #1 contenders matchup down the line. Could we see Kane versus CM Punk? Well, I guess we'll have to find out. But look at this, CM Punk sending Undertaker over the top. And now he's going to suplex him back into the ring. Look at the strength of CM Punk getting Undertaker up over that top rope, back into the ring. So, I mean, Undertaker, he can't afford to look past CM Punk, though, here tonight. I mean, he's got his focus on John Cena for Survivor Series, but he definitely cannot afford to look past CM Punk, because CM Punk, if you look past CM Punk, he will beat you. He will destroy you if you look past CM Punk. So Taker, all of his focus has to be on jeez, I just screwed up. All of his focus has to be on the straight edge savior CM Punk here tonight. And big clothesline there by The Undertaker, taking Punk down over there in the corner. But we also know, I mean, I know a lot of things went down last week. Kane did face off against The Undertaker, and Taker got the victory. So Taker, in his new Shield, nice drop. No, I think Taker actually dodged that one. But we know Taker, now that he's in cahoots with the Shield. Wait a minute. CM Punk, he's got Undertaker up, and a go to sleep, delivers the knee right to the face. CM Punk into the cover. 1, 2. No, Undertaker just barely kicked out of that one. Maybe you have to think maybe if CM Punk had hooked the leg, he might have got the pin. But that's a running gag on my videos if you're new around here. But CM Punk didn't hook the leg. May have been the reason why Undertaker kicked out. I mean, just something that minor could have been the deciding factor in that pinfall, because Taker, that was so close to a 3 count. You never know. But Taker now lifting Punk up by the throat, and now he's going to lift him up even higher and put him back down with the choke slam all the way to hell. And now Taker looking to put Punk away here, but look at that. CM Punk right back up to his feet. And now Taker going on offense, but CM Punk with a nice side Russian leg sweep. And CM Punk now running on adrenaline right here, folks. He's building up a head of steam, trying to gather a second wind. Delivers 2 kicks to the face of The Undertaker, and now ducks a clothesline. Here's CM Punk, spinning neck breaker, taking The Undertaker down, and right on the back of his head. Of course, into the cover, 2 count, 3, CM Punk got him. CM Punk has defeated The Undertaker. CM Punk has just defeated the WWE Champion. What a victory this is for CM Punk. And I think this victory right here spells the end of CM Punk's woes, of all of his troubles that he has been experiencing in the past couple of months. He's been in a pretty big slump. All started back when he lost the WWE Championship to Dean Ambrose at Capital Punishment back in June. And then ever since then, he's just been kind of on this losing streak, this downward spiral. We know at Vengeance, he lost in a tag team match with Daniel Bryan against The Shield. CM Punk lost at SummerSlam. He had an opportunity to qualify for the King of the Ring at Night of Champions, and he lost the qualifying match. But looks like that victory over Alberto Del Rio at No Way Out was exactly what Paul Heyman said it would be. It was the victory that CM Punk needed to jumpstart his career once again. The victory to get Punk back into his winning ways, get him back to being the straight edge savior, back to being the best in the world. And CM Punk did a little bit of jaw jacking there to the Undertaker. Taker took that go to sleep, so that neck breaker just adding in extra damage to the head, maybe potentially giving him a concussion of some sort, but Taker is going to have to be careful. Of course, we know he's going to be facing off against John Cena at the No Way Out, or not No Way Out, at Survivor Series. But he did just come off of that Hell in a Cell matchup against John Cena, and then he faced off against Kane in the main event of last episode. So Taker, I don't know, I think he could use a good week off or so, but we'll have to see if that will be the case. I mean, Taker, Cena's kind of had it easy ever since that, ever since No Way Out. He has not competed in the ring, so I mean, Cena's had some time to recover. Taker, though, he's been right at it. He's been back in the ring, competing in these hard-fought bouts, and could that potentially be the deciding factor? All these matches, Cena kind of getting some time to rest up, Taker not so much. So I don't know. We'll have to see if that factors in at all heading into Survivor Series. But now we move on to a Divas matchup here. It is between Lita, the returning Lita. Remember, she returned back prior to No Way Out. She returned in a 6-Diva tag team matchup. And I don't know. Lita, she had been in a bit of a feud with Summer Rae. She had a couple matches on SmackDown and main event. I think she faced off against Summer. She's been involved with Summer Rae somehow. And anyway, she hasn't really been on the greatest. She hasn't really had the greatest of returns. I mean, the 6-Diva tag match, she lost that one. We had that Battle Royal on SmackDown to crown the #1 contender for the Divas title, and Lita didn't get the win there. She was actually eliminated by Oksana. Oksana actually eliminated every Diva that was not AJ Lee in that matchup, so you'd have to think Lita, she's behind AJ, and she's probably behind Oksana in the championship rankings, because Oksana proved that she's a dominant force in the Divas division, and that she's a force to be reckoned with in the future. So Lita, she's going to have to start getting some victories, do something to prove herself that, you know, she still can go, that this return isn't going to be, you know, a wasted opportunity, that she can and will be the dominant Diva that she used to be in the past. But Kaitlyn now, this is a big opportunity to get a victory over the veteran, why was I going to say Layla? The veteran Lita, as Kaitlyn, coming off of her title victory, her title defense at No Way Out in the Divas Hell in the Cell matchup against Natalya. That Hell in the Cell, I guess it wasn't really too built up anyway, but I don't know, I was a bit disappointed with how it turned out, because I mean, you know, they didn't use the cell at all, so it was a good concept in theory, but I mean, it was a good technical matchup, and that's what Kaitlyn and Natalya have. That's what their past 3 matches have been on. Of course, Natalya was the Divas champion, retained at SummerSlam, but then Kaitlyn got another opportunity at the No Way Out pay-per-view, Night of Champions, when she won in the triple threat against Natalya and Lita. So all those matches had been kept pretty technical, but I'd imagine AJ is going to be doing the same thing. It's going to be a pretty technical matchup between Kaitlyn and AJ, and that looks like what this matchup here between Kaitlyn and Lita is going to be. Lita and AJ have somewhat similar styles. Lita, she was made famous with her high-flying ability, and, you know, all of her suicidal moves that she liked to do. And then we have AJ. Okay, sorry about that. I was checking my sound thing, and, you know, sometimes, like, my mic gets unplugged or something in the middle of commentary, and it just, you know, the little bar, it has, like, a bar where how the audio goes up and down, you know, with pitch and stuff. Not pitch, but, like, how loud it is, and it looked like it was sitting still. Anyway, I rambled, apologizing for that. Anyway, so like I was saying, Lita made herself famous as a high-flying diva, and AJ, she's a pretty high-flying diva as well. She's a bit more technical, but wait a minute, Kaitlyn, I think Lita just tapped out there. Kaitlyn, yes indeed, Lita tapped out. Kaitlyn gets the victory over Lita. I think Lita's hair just glitched out there at the very end. I don't know if you caught that. But Kaitlyn gets a big victory over Lita. I mean, that's a victory that Kaitlyn that's definitely going to build to her credibility as Divas Champion. She defeated her hair's glitched out. But Kaitlyn defeated the veteran Natalya to win the Divas title, then retained against Natalya, and now a victory over Lita. So Kaitlyn, that's 3 big victories in the career of this young diva. But Kaitlyn, she's got to worry about AJ. And AJ is an entirely different threat to these 2 divas. Because AJ, you know, she's had plenty of opportunities to win the Divas Championship. But, you know, she's just come so close. She's been in 2 triple threats. She's had 2 opportunities to capture the Divas title. And on both occasions, she was just that close to breaking up the pinfall and did not do so. She was there to basically watch as her opponents would get the victory, see success, and maintain their Divas Championship, or in Kaitlyn's case, win the Divas title. So, I mean, AJ, those 2 losses that she had, one at Over the Limit, and then the one most recently at Night of Champions, those have to be devastating to AJ's career, to her psyche. But we know she is a bit psychotic, and I'm sure that's only going to fuel her, dare I say it, her craziness. I know I used the C word, but I don't know, AJ, that could potentially fuel the fire that she's got going and just make her that much more aggressive heading into the Survivor Series pay-per-view. But now, here we go, fatal 4-way matchup, 4 guys who could potentially be the next #1 contender for the United States Championship. We do know that Roman Reigns won the United States Championship in a fatal 4-way at No Way Out. Kofi Kingston and Jack Swagger were 2 of the superstars involved. It was between the other 2 were Reigns and The Miz. And Zack Ryder, we do know that he's had history with Jack Swagger. Jack Swagger, of course, has a rematch clause still to use, so we'll have to see when and where Jack Swagger will cash in on that opportunity to use his rematch clause for the United States Championship. Jack Swagger had held the United States Championship ever since Extreme Rules back in April. That was our very first pay-per-view in Universe Mode. And we've had the tradition so far that Jack Swagger would kick off every single pay-per-view. But because Roman Reigns is in the 6-man tag against Team Icons, you'd have to think, you know, he's not gonna be defending that United States Championship. As I only like to book superstars in 1 match per night. I don't like to, you know, have them do double duty. Unless it's, you know, something like a Royal Rumble. That's a bit different, but I don't know. Jack Swagger, he's going to have to use that rematch clause sometime before the Survivor Series pay-per-view, and he's going to have to win if we want to keep the tradition alive. But Big E Langston now coming down to the ring. I guess in the real WWE, he's just known as Big E. But Big E, he's actually faced Jack Swagger for the United States Championship once before. Back at Capital Punishment, they faced off. Back when Big E and Dolph Ziggler were a tag team. And, what a move there by Big E Langston, going right after Jack Swagger. So all 4 of these superstars have got a bit of history with Jack Swagger. Not so much for Kofi, but Kofi has been a long time. Actually, no, Kofi does have history with Jack Swagger. Because back at the Over the Limit pay-per-view, it was Kofi and Evan Bourne. They were still Air Boom, the tag team champions then. And R-Truth and Zack Ryder ended up winning the tag team titles. Swagger was then named the other half of the tag team champions with Zack Ryder. I believe. Yeah, that's how that went, I think. Or did I strip them of the titles? I don't remember. That was way back in May. That might have actually been around May. No. Of course, Over the Limit is a May pay-per-view, but it was uploaded in June of 2013, so that was basically a year ago. I don't quite remember that storyline. I apologize, it's a bit fuzzy. But anyway, the point is, all 3 of these superstars have history with Jack Swagger. Now that Swagger's he's no longer the United States Champion, he's going to have to be very aggressive if he hopes to get it back from Roman Reigns, because that is not going to be an easy task. Roman Reigns, the powerhouse of the Shield, has been making a huge name for himself in the singles competition area. I mean, he's been defeating superstars left and right, putting on epic performances. He defeated the Intercontinental Champion Ryback on main events a couple of weeks ago. He defeated Jack Swagger one-on-one before. So, Swagger, I don't know if he can defeat Roman Reigns one-on-one. So, Swagger, could he potentially kiss his United States Championship hopes goodbye? I don't know, but I mean, Jack Swagger, he is the real American, so that United States Championship is basically made for him. And, you know, I think that is basically the title he's going to want to go after. I mean, you could think maybe, well, he's been United States Champion for the past 6 months or whatever. So, I mean, you know, should he lose, he could potentially go after the WWE Championship. But I would think that Jack Swagger, that United States Championship, is the title he wants, because he's a real American. He's an all-American American. So, I mean, of course, he's going to want the American Championship. He's going to want the United States Championship. I think that is Jack Swagger's main priority at the moment in his career. And plus, we've got a lot of big main event talent up in the WWE Championship picture. We've got, you know, CM Punk, Kane, Undertaker, John Cena. Is Swagger really ready to move up to the main event scene? I'm not sure, but Swagger, he's going to want to maintain credibility with that United States Championship. Here we go. Roll up to Kofi Kingston. Kofi now counters through. That's a 1 count and a kick out there by Jack Swagger. But as we can see now, Big E, he's got Zack Ryder here. Nice counter. Belly-to-belly suplex taken. Well, just a belly-belly slam, I should say. Not really a suplex. Ryder now with a roll-up. Has Big E stacked up on his shoulders. There's a kick out by Big E. But I had to take a breath there. I've been going like non-stop. I gotta learn to stop. I gotta learn to like pace myself better in these commentaries, because sometimes I'll just, you know, just like rapid fire talk in some of these points, and it's not working for me. Okay, I needed that. But anyway, let's back to the match now. As Kofi's got Jack Swagger over there in the corner. Big E, oh, big headbutt right to the face of Zack Ryder. And Big E now, there's an Irish whip sending, oh, gut-wrench powerbomb over there by Jack Swagger completely. I almost missed that one, just caught out of the corner of my eye. Jack Swagger hooks the leg on Kofi. No, not even a 1 count. Ryder, ever aware he was keeping, I can't talk now. Zack Ryder, he was aware of the situation, was keeping his eye on Jack Swagger. Look at this, back body drop by Big E Langston as Kofi kicks out. And now Ryder, could he be about to eat a finisher here? Big E Langston powering Zack Ryder up there, and I think he's going for it. And a big ending, but there's a kick out by Kofi Kingston. Close call there. Big E hooks the leg. 2 count, but no. Kofi and Swagger right on that, breaking up that pinfall. And now Jack Swagger going after Big E Langston. Big E with a nice counter. And now here's Langston. Got Swagger over there in the corner, my mistake. And here we go. Belly to back throw by Jack Swagger, taking Big E down. And now Ryder into the cover. 1. No, actually both superstars went for a cover and both kicked out. And now Kofi, nice chop right to the chest of Zack Ryder. But if I had to say, if any superstar needs a victory here, it would probably have to be Zack Ryder. Because Ryder, ever since, you know, the New Millennia split, Ryder just kind of disappeared. I mean, he had that one tag team matchup with, what is this? Oh, gut wrench, gut buster. Why did I say gut wrench? Yeah, that was a gut wrench. I don't know. Anyway. Swagger with a nice power slam now. Yeah, he picked him up like it was a gut wrench. So that'd be a gut wrench, gut buster. But anyway, like I was trying to say, I think Ryder needs his victory the most, because Zack Ryder has, I just completely threw myself off now with that move, but Zack Ryder hasn't really done much since the New Millennia split, and he did suffer a loss in a submission match against Jack Swagger, and then he had that one tag team match with Ziggler against the then tag team champions Tons of Funk. But I mean, really, Ryder definitely needs a win here. And now look at this roll up, Kofi. Ryder got him. Zack Ryder got Kofi Kingston. And that was the victory that Zack Ryder needed. If he wants to go after that United States Championship, you know, just kind of stick it to Jack Swagger, get in there and get the victory, win the United States Championship before Swagger can even do it, try to knock the Real American out of the title picture completely. But, I mean, we know that Ryder's still going to be frustrated with Jack Swagger. But as we can see, Ryder definitely took some punishment in this matchup. Took the back body drop there. Big E then laid him out right there with the big ending. Luckily, Swagger and Kofi were there to break out the pin. Then right here when Big E was distracted with Jack Swagger, Ryder snuck in, got the roll-up, and defeated Kofi Kingston here. So that's a big victory for Zack Ryder. Kofi was probably another superstar who could have used the victory, because Kofi really hasn't done anything since Over the Limit when he lost the tag team titles. But Zack Ryder gets a victory here in this Fatal 4-Way matchup, and that's going to go a long way in terms of his United States Championship standings. He just got a victory in this Fatal 4-Way matchup. He defeated the likes of Big E, who's a top contender, Kofi Kingston, who was just in a United States Championship match and No Way Out, and Jack Swagger, who's the former United States Champion. So I think that victory could do wonders for the career of Zack Ryder. We'll see if maybe he could potentially get a United States Championship matchup down the road. I mean, even if Swagger could cash in his rematch clause and win, then you'd have to think Zack Ryder would be right there. He'd be up in the top of that United States Championship division, and I'm sure he'd like nothing more than to take the United States Championship from Jack Swagger. But that's even if Swagger will win it back by then. That's even if Jack Swagger is going to win. But Roman Reigns is going to be a tough task for Zack Ryder. I think Zack Ryder would probably hope that Swagger can cash in his rematch clause and get a victory, because then Zack Ryder, I think he'd have a better shot at defeating Jack Swagger than he would Roman Reigns. But now let's get into this tag team matchup here. Daniel Bryan teaming up with Antonio Cesaro. As we know, Cesaro was one of the top superstars in the King of the Ring tournament back at the Night of Champions pay-per-view when he was just narrowly defeated by The Undertaker in the Raw semifinals. Well, I guess it would have been the Raw finals, the semifinals of the tournament. He was defeated by The Undertaker. We all know where Undertaker went from that King of the Ring tournament. But Cesaro teamed up with AJ to take on Oksana and Seth Rollins on the No Way Out pre-show, and unsuccessful in getting the win there. Seth Rollins actually pinned Cesaro in that one. So Cesaro definitely needs to bounce back after that loss at No Way Out. And a tag team victory here with Daniel Bryan over Curtis Axel and the newcomer Alberto Del Rio. Well, technically, these two superstars are both newcomers. Curtis Axel just recently brought in by Paul Heyman, and Del Rio recently traded to bring him here to Raw by Paul Heyman. So, I mean, both these superstars are new to the Raw roster, so not only does Cesaro need a victory here, but Del Rio needs a victory. Del Rio, ever since he arrived, I mean, back in the No Way Out pay-per-view, he lost to Punk, he lost to Jericho on main event, he lost to Daniel Bryan last week. So that's 3 losses in a row since coming to Monday Night Raw. And I don't know, Del Rio, not a very strong debut here to the show. I mean, he has had great matches. He's put up a very strong fight against his opponents. But ultimately, if you don't get the W, I mean, not much of that really matters. So Del Rio and Curtis Axel definitely need a win here tonight, especially Curtis Axel as well, heading into a matchup against Daniel Bryan. We know Curtis Axel, his reputation over on SmackDown wasn't all that great. He was actually defeated by the Intercontinental Champion Ryback, which cost him his career on SmackDown. So, I mean, Axel, he can talk. We've seen that he can talk the talk, sort of. I don't know, as long as he keeps the microphone away from his chin. But we'll see if he can walk the walk here tonight in this tag team matchup with the aid of Alberto Del Rio. We'll see if they can get the win over Daniel Bryan and Antonio Cesaro, but that is going to be easier said than
Ladies
done.
and gentlemen, I have one more additional announcement to make. This one's for you, Daniel. If you think that you're anywhere near the caliber of a superstar that the Beast incarnate Brock Lesnar is, then you should have no trouble defeating Alberto Del Rio and Curtis Axel on your own tonight. So Cesaro, you have the rest of the night off. Go head back to the locker room. Do whatever you want. I don't really care. But Daniel Bryan, this is now a handicap match. Good luck. Oh, what a dirty move by Paul Heyman. Curtis Axel, while Bryan was distracted, Curtis Axel attacked Daniel Bryan from behind. And now look at this. Paul Heyman has just made this matchup a handicap match. Daniel Bryan now has to go 2-on-1 against Curtis Axel and Alberto Del Rio. How unfair is this to Daniel Bryan? Paul Heyman, this is just complete power abuse by Paul Heyman. Is the McMahon family not paying any attention to Paul Heyman and this abuse of power? Is Paul Heyman really working like with the authority, or do the authority encourage this kind of behavior from Paul Heyman? I mean, are they too busy with Vince McMahon and his injuries that he's got? I mean, what is going on here? Paul Heyman just completely abusing his power here. Just complete abuse of power. Now forcing Daniel Bryan to compete in a 2-on-1 matchup. He just sent Cesaro packing. He just sent him home. Just took him out of this matchup completely. This match barely even started. I mean, Cesaro never even got an opportunity to compete in this matchup. Paul Heyman just immediately telling Cesaro basically to beat it. And now Daniel Bryan's got to go 2-on-1 against Del Rio and Curtis Axel. And we'll see if Daniel Bryan can indeed succeed. Can he defeat Curtis Axel and Alberto Del Rio? As Daniel Bryan now delivers the kicks. And so far, so good. I mean, he's been working on the arm of Curtis Axel. Axel now drop kick to Daniel Bryan. And makes a tag now. In comes Alberto Del Rio. And now these two superstars are in a lockup. Del Rio certainly wants to get some vengeance, some payback on Daniel Bryan after what went down last week when Daniel Bryan defeated him. Actually made him tap out too. Actually, no, he actually hit him with a knee. Never mind. But both these two superstars are submission experts. Del Rio's certainly going to want to try to work the arm in this matchup. Set Bryan up for that cross arm breaker, and that's exactly what he did right there. Slamming Bryan's arm off of the mat. But this is definitely going to aid Del Rio and Curtis Axel in this matchup. I mean, Axel, what a victory this would be for him if he could pin Daniel Bryan in this matchup, knowing that they're going to be facing off at Survivor Series. But this is definitely going to help them in a big way. It's 2-on-1. So, I mean, basically, if any one of them start to get beaten down by Daniel Bryan, they can just, the other one can simply step into the ring and break up the pin. They could even make this a 2-on-1, just start attacking Daniel Bryan. They have a 5 count to work with. So, I mean, there could be a lot of double teaming. Does Daniel Bryan really stand a chance in this matchup? I mean, so far he's holding his own. We'll have to see in the long run if that can continue. Obviously, the odds stacked against him here tonight. As Del Rio keeps trying to tag in Curtis Axel, but Daniel Bryan will not allow it. And that's very smart. Daniel Bryan is going to have to get Del Rio back into, well, I guess, is it really his corner anymore? What would have been his corner, but obviously just got to stay away from the corner of Curtis Axel and Alberto Del Rio in a superplex off the top rope. Del Rio hooks the leg. One. No, kick out by Daniel Bryan, but a superplex there by Del Rio. As now Del Rio, nope, countered by Daniel Bryan into a jawbreaker. And here's Daniel Bryan now working on the arm of Alberto Del Rio. As, of course, Bryan is also a submission expert. Try to, wear out the arm, take away the power of Del Rio to potentially resist the yes lock. As we know, he'll drag him down by the arm and then put him in that almost like a crossface. So, I mean, if you can take out the arm, it's going to make your opponent, it's going to give your opponent a definite blah, blah, blah. It's going to make it more difficult for your opponent to break out of that submission hold if they've only got one arm, and that arm would be the one to tap out. I mean, you injure one of their arms, it's going to make it a lot more difficult to get out of the submission hold. As he also tried to work on the arm of Curtis Axel earlier, and that's a smart strategy by Daniel Bryan. You got to isolate one of these two superstars. You got to make sure that you can keep one of them in the ring. Do not allow them to make frequent tags. Because, I mean, Daniel Bryan, while he's a workhorse, he's a machine in the ring, but I don't know. Can he really outlast Curtis Axel and Alberto Del Rio if it came down to that? If it really came down to, you got two guys who can tag out, keep each other fresh, while, you're on your own. So you're at a constant battle against either of these two superstars, while they can have an opportunity, to refresh themselves, recharge their batteries, and, they have an opportunity to rest and recover. That's what I'm trying to say with all my bad references. And now look at this. Daniel Bryan has counter. Neck breaker taken down. Curtis Axel. Daniel Bryan going to the top rope here, looking for an elbow, but no. Curtis Axel rolled out of the way.
And this could be the opening that Curtis Axel needs. Look at this snapmare takedown. And what is this? Oh, just snapping Daniel Bryan's head back. Do you see his head bounce off the mat there? There's a count. And Curtis Axel and Alberto Del Rio get the victory. And really, how long was Daniel Bryan supposed to last in this matchup? This was just an unfair use of power, an abuse of power by Paul Heyman. Just forcing Daniel Bryan to compete in this handicap matchup. You see right here, that superplex had to take a lot out of Daniel Bryan. That superplex by Alberto Del Rio. And just look at the impact. Daniel Bryan's head bouncing right back up against the mat. That could have knocked him out. That could have given him a concussion for all we know. I mean, Daniel Bryan, he's still out cold. And, I mean, really, what could Daniel Bryan do against this? I mean, this is just completely unfair. Paul Heyman forcing him to compete in this handicap match. But the point is, you know, we can complain about how unfair it was all we want. The point is that Del Rio and Curtis Axel got the victory over Daniel Bryan here tonight. That's what's going to say in the record books. But after all that, I think it's about time that we crank the epicness up to 11. That doesn't make any sense. Why did I say that? I don't even know. We're doing this live, folks. But here we go. We have a one-on-one matchup. This is going to be a clash of two of the superstars who will be competing in the Survivor Series tag team matchup. Team Shield versus Team Icons. It is Seth Rollins, 1/3 of the Hounds of Justice, the Shield, with Dean Ambrose at ringside, taking on The Rock with Stone Cold Steve Austin at ringside. As we can only have one manager out to the ring. So Roman Reigns and Hulk Hogan are not here with us this evening. But Seth Rollins, Dean Ambrose, The Rock, and Stone Cold looking to get it on here tonight. I mean, this could be a taste of what is to come at Survivor Series. We'll have to see what kind of shape is The Rock truly in. Does he have the cardio ability that he lacked in the real WWE? Does he have what it takes to keep up with a workhorse like Seth Rollins? We've seen Seth Rollins in singles competition, not only just with his performance with the Shield, but in singles competition as well. Seth Rollins has been a force to be reckoned with. He's defeated the former WWE Champion John Cena. He's defeated many a superstar in his singles career. I mean, Seth Rollins has been a threat. He's been up in the WWE Championship picture, which, I mean, really the only thing holding him out of the WWE Championship picture is me, because I don't think really Seth Rollins should be up there. But Seth Rollins has been getting the victory. He's proved himself to be... Wait a minute, what the hell? The Undertaker has bought a ticket, and he's even no-selling the Shield attire here. Thanks a lot, WWE 2K14, for doing that. But this is not good for... Well, you know, you never know. The Undertaker, I mean, it might get hot under all that, you know, the bulletproof jackets and stuff. So maybe he's just got that attire underneath, just, you know, out there as a fan, just trying to, you know, enjoy this matchup. Yeah, even though we know that's not the case. The Undertaker's out here. This is only going to make matters worse for Stone Cold and The Rock, because now not only do they have Seth Rollins here, Seth Rollins and The Rock in the ring competing, Dean Ambrose out here at ringside, immediately right there at the ring, but they've also got The Undertaker right over there at the top left, or the middle left over there by the WWE HD. He's over there by that corner, just sitting there, bought a ticket, just watching this one play out. So, I mean, not only does The Rock have to worry about the potential interference of Dean Ambrose, but he also has to worry about The Undertaker getting involved in this one as well. So, I don't know. I don't know about The Rock and Stone Cold's chances here in this one, but I mean, then again, it is The Rock. Look who we're talking about. The Rock and Stone Cold, the two greatest superstars of the Attitude Era, two of the greatest superstars of all time. I mean, they've put on classic matches. So, I mean, I don't know. We can't really count The Rock and Steve Austin out of this one just yet. But this is definitely going to be, you know, what
what could potentially happen at Survivor Series. I mean, what if Hulk Hogan gets eliminated? Then we've got Stone Cold and The Rock. They are going to be at a 2-on-3 disadvantage. I mean, it won't be The Undertaker. It would be Roman Reigns. But still, this is a bit of a fact. This is a bit of a teaser as to, you know, the kind of conditions that either of these two teams could experience. I mean, there could be that point where it could maybe even be 3-on-1. You never know. So, I mean, this little odds stacked against them right now, maybe this is a good thing for The Rock and Steve Austin. Put them under more pressure and get them ready, get them prepared for the potential showdown. Well, the showdown, what potentially could happen at Survivor Series. You never know. Could get down to a 2-on-3, maybe a 1-on-3, a 1-on-2 situation. You never know. So, I mean, hey, it's not going to hurt you right now to, you know, experience this kind of pressure. But they also got to worry about, you know, they are back into the ring. They might be a little bit, you know, they might have a little bit of ring rust, and they don't want to, you know, get injured or something, suffer some sort of injury due to them not being used to competing in the ring. They have been out of action for quite a while. Not so much for The Rock, as The Rock was just back in the WWE. That would have taken place before Universe Mode, I think. No, it wouldn't have. Never mind. Forget that. So neither of these two superstars have been in the ring for years. I mean, Stone Cold, of course, he's got a history of neck injuries. That could potentially factor in come Survivor Series. We see he's up on the apron. Look at this. Seth Rollins. He's got The Rock up there. And there's a turnbuckle power bomb. Vintage Seth Rollins right there. The Rock. Could he be done? I mean, could he be out of it? This is going to get to the point where it's a test of The Rock's abilities. Does he truly still got it? Does he truly still have it? My mistake there. My grammar are good. But Rock, DDT, planting Seth Rollins face first into the mat. And now working the arm of Seth Rollins. As The Rock, he's got to do something. He's got to do something to be able to keep up with Seth Rollins. Or did I say Seth Rollins twice? I meant to say The Rock if I did. Wait a minute. Look at this. Seth Rollins. Rollins! Oh, what a move! What a move. The Rock was going for a back suplex. Seth Rollins, however, reversed the pressure and took him down with a face buster. And now what is this? Oh my god! A DDT! That high elevated DDT there by Seth Rollins. Now what is this? Seth Rollins just all this offense, and now a jawbreaker. Just spun him around and took him down with that jawbreaker there. And Rollins, is he still not done? Seth Rollins not even going for a pin, just continuing to inflict punishment, and a powerbomb right into the knees, right onto the back of The Rock. The Rock, I mean, if he keeps taking too many of these shots, he might not be able to come back. He might not be able to defeat Seth Rollins, as Rollins is just now completely dissecting The Rock here. And now looking to finish him off here, going for the finisher, going for the Seth Walker. And he connects into the cover, hooks both legs. That's 2. And look at this, Stone Cold up on the apron. That bought The Rock a split second extra time, as that was going to be a 3 count there. The Rock kicked out just a little too... Oh, no. This is not good for The Rock. Stone Cold Steve Austin has been ejected from ringside, and the referee... he's just doing his job. He has to keep things fair and orderly here, which is a bit ironic because that's usually what the Shield tries to do. But Stone Cold Steve Austin has been ejected from ringside, so now The Rock, essentially, Rock is in a 3-on-1 situation here. And look at this, a crossface locked in by Seth Rollins. Rock, he's dead center of the ring. He can't get to the ropes. He's going to have to break out of this himself. And I believe Seth Rollins released the pressure there, realized that The Rock was not going to kick, or was not going to tap out. But this is not good. The Rock is in a 3-on-1 situation. The odds are definitely stacked against him in this one. And Seth Rollins, for the second time, a powerbomb right into the turnbuckle. And Rock, you know, I mean, Stone Cold bought him that extra second to kick out earlier, but I think he might be done now. No, The Rock stays alive, but The Rock, definitely odds stacked against him. Does he have what it takes? Can he dig down deep and stay alive against Seth Rollins? Well, he's doing that right now. He definitely needs a comeback here. But in the long run, I don't know, does The Rock really even have a shot anymore? Well, he's giving it his best shot at this one. Takes Seth Rollins down with a spine buster. And now The Rock, he's looking for the most electrifying move in sports entertainment. The Rock goes off both ropes. Here we go. People's elbow connects. right to the chest of Seth Rollins. That could do it. Hooks the leg. 2 count. 3. No! Seth Rollins just kicked out. Seth Rollins just kicked out of the people's elbow. Dean Ambrose, he wasn't going to make it there in time. Dean Ambrose wasn't going to make it up to distract the referee in time. That was all Seth Rollins. Rollins just kicked out of the people's elbow. This is what I'm talking about. This is why Seth Rollins is a force to be reckoned with, not only as a member of the Shield, but in his own right as a singles competitor, because he can take the punishment, and this is why he's up in the WWE Championship rankings. And again, close call there, near fall from The Rock. Rock counters with an elbow right to the face, and now look at this. He's got Seth Rollins. Rock bottom by The Rock. No way Rollins kick out of that one. Rock hooks the leg. There's a 1 count. Oh, but Dean Ambrose up there distracting the referee, buying time for Seth Rollins to recover, and even distracted The Rock here. And Rollins now with a full Nelson locked in, and the Rock is tapping out. The referee didn't see it. That was a very smart move there by The Rock. The Rock intentionally tapping out there, knowing that the referee had his back turned, that the referee wouldn't notice. Seth Rollins not even realizing it. And look at this, Rock was going off the top rope, but we saw Dean Ambrose with the distraction there. He hopped up on the apron. As Rock now, he's digging down deep. He's hit Rollins with 2 of his best shots. His 2 best shots. And still can't do it. So we saw he had to go to the top rope there. Try to go to something that's a bit unfamiliar to him, just to make sure you can put Seth Rollins away here. This just shows what kind of a situation The Rock's in, how desperate he truly is in this matchup, and what kind of an athlete Seth Rollins is. As Rollins, another counter, goes to the top rope, cross body, but no, The Rock able to sidestep. And I mean, wow, this is just a very back and forth matchup here in the main event. Samoan drop by The Rock, taking down Seth Rollins. But you'd have to think, if Dean Ambrose wasn't here, Rollins would be done in this matchup. But then again, if Austin wasn't here, Rock would be done in this matchup. As Seth Rollins now picking him up, and Falcon's Arrow, planting him into the mat, right on his back, out of that suplex, hooks the leg, 1, but Rock kicking out. Rock, I mean, he's just running on adrenaline. He's running on fumes right now, trying to do whatever he can to survive. But this is almost insurmountable odds here for The Rock. Seth Rollins, for the second time, Seth Walker, hooks the leg, 2 count, 3. There was just no way The Rock was going to be able to survive this one. Whew. What a match that was. And I mean, even though the odds were against The Rock from the beginning, even when Stone Cold was at ringside, due to the presence of The Undertaker, I mean, I don't know. The odds were just stacked against The Rock from the beginning. Stone Cold's ejection was a bit, I don't know, the referee, I mean, I get it. He's doing his job, trying to maintain control, but that was basically the nail in the coffin for The Rock. I mean, Rock, he put up one hell of a fight, but in the end, you've got Ambrose out at ringside. He's going to distract the referee, which he did, and The Rock just ran out of gas, and Rollins got the victory there with that Seth Walker. Put him away, but you can't question the fight of The Rock, and Seth Rollins now with the steel chair. What the hell? What the hell? R-Truth is back, saving The Rock here, as he saves him. Wait a minute! Oh my God! The R-Truth just hit The Rock with a steel chair. What the? What? What just happened? What just happened? What am I witness? What? What? I literally don't know what to say. What just happened? R-Truth just returned from his injury and hit The Rock with a steel chair. It looked like he was gonna save him, but what? I keep on YouTubing.